Episode 7. A Trap for the Devil. So, do we listen to the man, or do we just gouge his eyes out right now? Adam didn't react to David's words at all. Instead, he walked further into the living room. He accurately identified who was in charge and addressed Mikhail. I suppose I'd be more comfortable answering your questions with all parts of my body intact. Will you answer them honestly? I don't think I have a choice. What a perceptive man. The overly calm beginning of the conversation was unsettling. What is he up to? As if hearing her thoughts, Adam slowly turned around. Audrey, good to see you again. I hope you tasted the bird your friend stole from my restaurant. I released it into the garden. Disappointment flickered across his face. Ah, what a pity. I'm afraid there won't be another chance to enjoy such a delicacy in my restaurant. Maybe it's for the best. Thanks to your past choices, the restaurant's illegal activity has been stopped. So what exactly do you all want to know from me? The first question was on everyone's mind. Mikhail was the first to ask. What is your connection to Malik Sinner? Adam smiled dreamily and answered without hesitation. He's the one who helped me to transcend the tastes of the norms of our time, the one who showed me my true nature. Your mentor? A friend? No, I wouldn't dare call him a friend. He is my god. The sincerity in which Adam declared this was striking. He seemed truly ready to spill everything he knew. Audrey took advantage of the pause after his bold statement. She asked, Adam, did Malik tell you to kill your own son? What did you do for Malik? How did you meet Malik? I'm assuming we can go down the list, so let's hope so. Are you so concerned about the fate of my offspring? Aren't you? He's dead. What more am I supposed to know about him? His genuine lack of understanding sent a shiver down her spine. I didn't kill him. Mr. Sinner never asked me to. The cultists did. It's the followers of the beast. And judging by your expression, my only crime is my indifference. But you can't be arrested for not feeling parental love, can you? No, you can't. Adam, what did you do for Malik? Nothing. I lived as I pleased, enjoyed every minute of it. I was myself. Ah, what faith allows its followers such freedom. Oh, if it weren't for the fact that they commit murder, it would be the perfect religion. None of us are perfect. What's the point of arguing about who has more blood on their hands? Adam, how did you meet him? I was still a child when we first came to me. That was 30 years ago. That day, my late mother scolded me for being curious. I had eaten cat food. She was afraid it would upset my digestion, but Mr. Sinner said with curiosity is not a vice. What else did he tell you? That I shouldn't resent my parent, but I shouldn't silence my inner voice either. And if my mother's tears bothered me so much, I just didn't have to tell her what I did next time. So, what did you do next? I ate the cat. So you became the embodiment of gluttony. The embodiment. What an honor. Do you have any idea how exactly Malik chose you? Adam shrugged, and the gesture was quite sincere. I think you can find a predominant sin in everyone. I'm sure this room alone is a fine representative of each. But why you? Why did he choose the 7 of you out of so many mortals? This time, Adam didn't answer right away. He paused, weighing his response, but then he glanced at Furious's imposing figure and sighed wearily. What makes you think Mr. Sinner only picked 7? Aren't there 7 sins? Oh, that's what you meant. Yes, 7 were honored to die, but that doesn't mean that Malik has no backup options. He himself is as enticing as sin. It wouldn't be hard for him to convince someone to sacrifice their son or daughter. But the ritual killings have stopped, haven't they? Well, maybe he's still hoping to drag you to the altar, Audrey. Who knows? Or maybe he's waiting for me to fulfill some kind of purpose. What is the point of the ritual? What will it do for him? That, I'm afraid, I don't know. David stepped towards Adam, his eyes glinting dangerously red. Well, let's see if you're telling the truth. Adam raised his hands as if to shield himself from the demon, but the smile never left his face. Unfortunately, that's all I can give you. It's like it's all I can give Mr. Sinner. My journey ends here. You're not going anywhere. Of course not. My reward is already here. The strange statement made everyone tense. Out of the corner of her vision, Audrey saw a white glow flood Somnus's eyes. The air around the immortals shimmered faintly. I have tasted everything I can, and now it is time to experience the final pleasure. A familiar chittering sound filled the air. The thick black smoke swirled beneath Adam's feet. He spread his arms wide and spoke. I'm ready to feel the pleasure of being devoured. In a matter of seconds, body was swarmed by insects that rose from beneath him in a dense cloud. Through the hum of thousands of wings, Audrey heard the wet sounds of flesh being torn apart. Okay. Bloodied, almost completely covered by tiny bodies, Adam accepted his death with a smile. He stared blankly ahead through space and time, through pain. Damn. The immortals watched in disgust, not bothered to help a person who did not need it. Choking on the blood that filled his throat, Adam gurgled, ready to become a part of, to serve for eternity. With a final bubbling sound, his body collapsed onto the floor, buried beneath the humming shroud. And then the filthy, bloody musk dissolved into a black mist. A sudden silence fell upon the heads of everyone present, accompanied by a dreadful ringing. As she stared at the perfectly clean floor, Audrey drowned in the piercing sound as it blocked out all of her thoughts. At first, she didn't even notice Raphael entering the room. You chose the outfit you want Raphael to wear. Oh. Classic coffee. Tranquility. Armatura Humanitas. Current. I'll go with coffee. Because it's coffee. His outfit was designed by readers. Raphael's outfit has been updated. I wasn't even allowed to read that, but okay. What's going on here? The angel, who had recently been blending into white bed sheets, now looked quite healthy. Locust just ate the father of one of the cult victims. The casual tone with which the archangel spoke made Audrey shiver. Well, now that someone's who's hard to impress, unlike me. She had no doubt that the image of the bloodied Adam would haunt her for a long time. David decided that the boss's explanation was enough and closed the matter. Malik is recruiting his army in this manner, then I don't understand where he gets so many willing followers. Welcome back, by the way. Raphael, how are you feeling? Better. Already. The idyll was interrupted by Somnus's displeased voice. If Raphael is better, then Malik is likely regaining his strength rapidly as well. Do you want to go to the church today? No, we need to prepare. We will act accordingly to plan. With the main reason for the meeting dissolved, the superiors leisurely made their way to the exit. But at the door, Somnus and Furious were stopped by a firm voice. "I'm flying to the capital." Somnus narrowed his eyes suspiciously and turned around. "Why?" "I want to find out why Avilia was really sent to the laboratory." "Your place is in hell. No one in heaven will receive you." "Then I'll go." Mikhail said this calmly and simply. The superior's expressions changed. Somnus walked back into the room and stood in front of the Archangel. He spoke even more quietly than usual. "You have any doubts?" "If one of my subordinates has doubts, then I have to dispel them." Irritated, Furious rushed in after Somnus and hissed, "And dispel them. Don't indulge in this circus that Felonia has staged." "I want to talk to the person that felt tortured." "It won't happen. He's dead." This is all very strange. Keep your thoughts to yourself. But Fel didn't kill him, did she? Or how did he die? Fel didn't kill him, did she? How do you know? She wouldn't have gotten rid of someone who could corroborate her story. The conclusion was obvious, judging by Furious's angry glare. He didn't like that. "Who asked you, anyway?" "Well, since when have you been so afraid of questions?" "Enough wasting time. Humanity's fate is at stake." His flare of anger was extinguished by Raphael's soft voice. "I'll go. I'm still not much use here." Somnus backed up Furious, who was at a loss for words. "You haven't fully recovered yet." "I have enough strength to reach heaven. I'll wait for Father there." "Have you all gone mad? You should be here on Earth doing your job. Which, I remind you, you are doing terribly." Somnus placed his hand on Furious's shoulder and spoke in a sickly sweet, condescending tone. "We'll go to heaven ourselves and find out everything. Focus on the task at hand." As if afraid of being delayed, the immortals immediately headed to the garden. David watched them dissolve into the sky, his gaze thoughtful. They always act like self-absorbed jerks, but they've really outdone themselves today. They're hiding something that's obvious, but we really do need to prepare for tomorrow. Cassio clenched his fist. Mikhail hurried to reassure him. "Give me an hour, Cass, and we'll look into how the tortured angel died. The rest of you prepare." The Archangel walked out of the living room without another word. I never trusted angels. And as it turns out, I was right not to. Sorry, Raphael. He let the demon's remarks pass. All his attention was focused on Cassiel. Cassiel. It's fine. The demon expressed his unwillingness to discuss the topic further by simply walking out into the garden. Audrey met Raphael's worried gaze. I'll talk to him. Yes. It's better if it's you. Audrey nodded and ran outside. She couldn't shake the feeling that everything was falling apart, not just in the outside world, but in Astrea too. Now that they'd met the person it all began with, it was as if the building itself was starting to wither. Or maybe I'm just working myself up. She found Cassie on his usual spot. She stood silently across from him. She gave him the chance to tell her if he didn't want anyone near him right now. But the demon remained silent. What do I even talk to him about? His sister, the superiors, Adam. Adam. The image of the man's bloodied, insect-devoured face was still in her mind's eye. I mean, I'm no entomologist, but I don't think locusts can eat people. You're right. There's a scientist who studies insects. Those aren't the kind of locusts that destroy crops and fields. The fact that they appear and disappear so easily raises some questions. Cassiel looked at her attentively as if assessing her anxiety levels. We'll definitely find out what we're dealing with. Audrey sat down beside him. She was so pleased to see the demon scoot closer. Do you think Malik came here often? After all, his mother lived here. Well, there were those times when you saw someone's shadow. Don't you think that's strange? Malik doesn't seem like the sentimental type. Cassiel thought for a moment, then shrugged. Maybe it's not about her, but about the place itself. Maybe. Audrey pondered what might have driven Professor Sinner. If he didn't feel love for Astrea, then what feelings did he have? Did he enjoy the pain she experienced here? She was snapped out of her musings by the slight prick of cold. It was so unexpected that Audrey shuddered and raised her head. What was that? Cassiel reached out his hand, a lone, sharp snowflake fell onto his palm. Snow? It had been a warm, early autumn, so snow out of the question. But their eyes weren't deceiving them. The sky showered them with shiny, fluffy ice crystals that melted before they even touched the ground. It doesn't seem normal. He gazed up at the sky as if answers were hidden behind its gray veil. Nature is going mad. The wind gained strength, the weightless snowflakes stopped falling gently and began to swirl in the air. The gray clouds inhaled and darkened, then exhaled a full-blown snowfall. Maybe we shouldn't test just how out of hand things have gotten. Cassiel nodded. He agreed with her completely. Let's go inside. Driven by the strengthening wind on their backs, they hurried to take shelter behind the stone walls. The upcoming meeting with Malik did not promise a calm, restful night's sleep. Audrey scribbled away in her notebook, trying to sketch out a psychological profile of the professor. She expanded the list of subjects that might interest him enough to postpone his main question: where is the book? She came up with about a dozen potential topics, but Audrey wasn't sure about most of them. Well, you want to talk about Ruth? He told me about their connection himself. Could the love letters she wrote him steal his attention? Ruth was ready to give him her soul and body, but the receptionist decided that he didn't need to know that. Deep down, Audrey was sure that Malik knew about this, even without written proof. But he still kept her at a distance, albeit a small one. She wanted to finally figure out her role her old friend had played in his life. The main topic of conversation remained Astrea and her fate. She could only hope that Malik wouldn't pass up an opportunity to talk about his mother. Audrey set the notebook aside and listened to the sounds of the house. Its residents were preparing for sleep. The thought crashed over her, bringing sudden weariness. However, her sleep was quickly interrupted by an excessively loud notification from her phone. A message from David flickered onto its screen. So I'm assuming the prior message was, please come talk to me when you can, and on my way. The new one is, I can help you with your assignment. Now, of course, you know Malik so well. After thinking for a moment, Audrey decided to accept his help. Why not? Audrey smiled at his self-confidence. She grabbed her notebook and slipped out into the hallway. She knew they wouldn't write anything new in it, but she still took it with her. The demon's bedroom door was ajar. Audrey closed it quietly behind her. David greeted her. He was sprawled provocatively on the bed. Uh-huh. Of course he is. Do you review your legal work at the same time? Work? I didn't bring such nonsense to bed, little witch. Is that so? But you agreed to take on mine. We're not going to do any work. But you promised to help. Audrey, I'm a demon. I tricked you. Let me help you take your mind off those silly thoughts instead. What he was going to do was obvious, even without words. His desire was written all over his face. Not that Audrey disliked it, but she still wanted to do more than have with him. What can you offer me? We could have some wine, go to bed, or take a shower first. How tempting. Well, we know where two of these choices will go. We'll see about this one first. Talk about the demon and the deal. Do you regret letting that demon go free? David shrugged. Our relationship with them is complicated. They drove my father insane. Sure, I don't rule out the possibility the prison did him good. Maybe it made him reconsider things. But I doubt it. Audrey scooted a little closer to him. She tried to understand how he felt when he remembered his father. Do they want to drive you insane too? I don't think so. Father went through a lot. It's easy to blame him for all these troubles without knowing what drove him to them. David fell silent for a moment. She held out a hand to him and gently stroked her knuckles. He loved my mother very much. He loved her so much that it scared those around him. He and I are alike in that respect. He loved one woman for all of his immortality? Yes, for as long as he could love, he did. Audrey smiled and squeezed his hand. It's a pity we can't have a family dinner and introduce our parents. We have no one behind us. Well, yeah, theoretically, you could meet my father. I'm afraid to imagine what he'd say about your choice. I think he'd be amused that out of all the options, we chose the most difficult one. Audrey didn't have time to respond before David scooped her up in his arms. He whispered in her ear. His tenderness pushed all thoughts from her mind. But the most beautiful, the most desirable, the sweetest. Audrey slipped out of his arms and smiled. You really know how to change the subject. David likes opening up to you, even with the painful topics. You spent some time with David. How tempting. We'll do some wine. Let's see where it goes. Audrey wasn't surprised that the glasses were within David's easy reach. He leaned somewhere behind the bed and resurfaced fully armed. He uncorked the bottle skillfully, rubbed the burgundy liquid, and handed her a glass. Do you have a minibar over there? I like the taste of earth alcohol. It doesn't affect my efficiency, so why not? I prefer whiskey, but I thought wine would be more appropriate tonight. Audrey took a sip of the tart drink. She tasted the rich, musky notes. Not bad, I suppose. The demon let his gaze wander shamelessly over her, watching her every move. It reminded her of their first meeting. Do you remember when you took me to the sitting room for the first time? David, genuinely surprised by the question, he replied indignantly, Of course I remember. It was the best day of my life. Mikhail told me we were expecting a new co-worker just minutes before you walked in. I barely had time to clean up. And while I was getting ready, I prayed it would be someone like Cassiel or Raphael or Mikhail. Fell, or furious. I get it. So, how did you like the new coworker? I was thrilled the moment I saw you. We never had a woman cross our threshold before, you know. Let alone one as stunning as you. You charmed me instantly. There he was again. Same loud joker, showering her with compliments. So, you were impressed just because I was the only woman to ever walk in here? Oh, little witch. I could tease you. I could say that I fell in love with you because I had no other choice. But unlike my colleagues, I always had a choice. I used to leave this house at the slightest excuse just to avoid gathering centuries-old dust with everyone else. And I've met plenty of women, believe me. Audrey narrowed her eyes angrily and laughed in response. You don't even know how old I am. And I'm not just talking about earthly women. Oh, shut up. You're only digging yourself into a deeper hole. Come on, don't be jealous of my past. I left it behind a long time ago. I don't even think about it. And it's not the excessive lust you've already imagined. I lived a truly long life in hell, but the moment I saw you, I lost my head. Do you believe in love at first sight? She thought about it. She looked into his dark, enticing eyes. And she delighted the demon with one timid reply. Maybe I do. Their intimate conversation caused the bottle of wine to empty too quickly, but it left them with a pleasant feeling of peace and slight fatigue. He doesn't need anyone else. I'm gonna skip the shower because we know where that's gonna go. Sorry, YouTube and all that, you know. Audrey settled down beside the demon and rested her head on his chest. David pulled her closer. They both closed their eyes and allowed themselves to melt into the quiet bliss. In the morning, Audrey checked her news feed before getting out of bed. The world hadn't changed much overnight. The most frightening news piece was about a strange illness. A dozen church parishioners had died while praying. Doctors couldn't yet explain what had happened. Everyone was waiting for the autopsy results. Audrey felt a nauseating fear rise in her throat. It squeezed her neck, reminding her of her personal nightmares. It was an old Orthodox church. Its parishioners could have taken their own lives. And if they did, the police would have realized that immediately. The headlines would have been very different. Just like they were back then in my childhood. The numbness didn't leave her right away. It took a few minutes for Audrey to pull herself together. Alright, time to get ready. Audrey took her phone aside. She took a shower, got dressed, unconsciously holding Malik's image in her mind. Alright, so here we go. Compliant, defiant, poisonous, dangerous attraction, deadly temptation. Get everything. Compliant, defiant, poisonous. I'm gonna go with compliant. Like, the outfit's black and yeah. Continue. She fixed her hair. Do we have to? Why are we fixing her hair up for, supposedly this really evil person? I'm just saying. I'm gonna go with Aconite. It's alright. Actually interesting. It's white at the top, black at the bottom. Continue. Looking great. Further preparations were limited to each resident offering suggestions for the upcoming mission. They mostly discussed how to minimize Audrey's time with Malik. Somnus promised to create the dome as quickly as possible. He surprised her with a gift in the form of something familiar to her. A panic button. He decided it would be easier and calmer for the mortal to signal them in an earthly way, in case Malik decided to leave and they needed to act fast. Armed with a simple device and a plan, Audrey set out on her personal mission. She didn't call or text Malik. She simply went to the church, and that was enough. He immediately came out to meet her. I see you don't have the book with you. His quick jump to the point made her think for a moment that this was a foolish idea. Audrey nervously felt the small device strapped to her thigh, but she answered him with a surprising calm. I don't. Malik approached her slowly, guiding beneath the church's red lights. This time he looked different within its walls. He truly resembled something ethereal, unearthly. He's no longer our informant, though. He never really was. Try to convince me. Give me something besides threats. And then I'll bring the book to you. Malik chuckled. Do I even have anything I can give you? Yes. I need information. Let's do it this way, Audrey. A question for a question. Deal? Such a generous offer seemed like a real gift. She nodded immediately. Then start, I'm all ears. Alright. Why is Astrea afraid of you? Did you know my father? Does my soul belong to you? No more questions. Alright, let's start with the top. Because she doesn't understand me. His question followed hers almost immediately. What did she tell you about me? That she didn't name you when you were born? How did she call for you? Always with a trembling voice. Alright, did you know my father? I did. I spoke with him long before you were born. What did you tell him? I tell them all only what they want to hear, Audrey. I don't mold them into something else. I don't corrupt them. I don't push them. I look into their eyes and say, I see you. And they awaken in response. It would have been much easier to blame Malik for everything, to finally find justification for everything her father had done. But she couldn't justify him. Who was the woman your father kept in the basement? She was born in the commune like me, but she wanted to leave. My father said she was possessed. Everyone supported him. He tortured and tormented her until she died. No one ever spoke of leaving again. Your father had a very long whip and extremely callous heart. He wanted to be a god, but he became a devil. Still, that's not the worst outcome. Alright, does my soul belong to you? Is that true? Yes. You're promised to me like everyone else who is connected to me. But that's no reason to be sad. Sooner or later, you would have ended up in my hands anyway, like most people. Perhaps chance could have saved you, but I'm afraid it's a little late for that. By chance, does he mean that school in heaven? What about Ruth's soul? Is it yours too? Of course. How did you get the book? She hesitated, but decided to answer vaguely. With the help of a strange demon, he passed through the symbols. A strange demon, and David spoke to him. We all spoke to him. Malik smiled, but didn't press her further. I see. All right. No more questions. Won your reputation. You managed to answer all questions you wanted. Great job. Okay. You should throw us for a loop more often, just so. Malik casually took her hands in his trouser, or put his hands in his trouser pockets. He walked across the pedestal to the center of the hall. Well then, Audrey, you don't have the book and you've run out of questions. Anything else to say? I have nothing more to say to you. So you haven't changed your mind about not bringing me the book? Audrey shook her head. Malik sighed loudly and theatrically. Well, then let's wrap up this pointless farce. Call your friends. She tried to feign confusion, considering how scared she was, and pulled it off pretty well. But Malik wasn't convinced. He was no longer smiling when he repeated himself. Call them. There was no point in denying it anymore. Audrey pressed the button openly, and everything around them shook. Although she couldn't see it, she could feel the energy receding from Malik like a wave, only to gather strength and crash down on him with full force. Surely he feels it too. It really felt like an implosion aimed at one being. Malik fell to his knees, tears of blood poured from his eyes. The Astreans appeared next. They formed a protective barrier for her with their bodies. David and Cassio stood on either side of her. They gave her a quick once-over. He didn't hurt you, did he? All the immortals looked worn out. Somnus could barely stand and was leaning on Furious. Everyone was clearly drained from their efforts to bring Malik to his knees. Malik stood in front of him, or Mikhail stood in front of him, and silently stared into the enemy's face. Malik spoke first. He didn't hide his mockery. So what will you do now? What's your plan? Mikhail didn't respond. David broke the silence. Next we'll dig through your head, so we don't waste time on useless chatter. Maybe you should just ask me the questions that have been gnawing at you. I'll answer them. Mikhail stepped closer. He unceremoniously grabbed Malik's jaw. He tilted Sinner's head up and forced him to meet his eyes. He spoke too quietly, as if trying to hide the matter from the others. Listen closely. Audrey managed to catch fragments of Mikhail's words. The questions involved her, too. She realized as she stepped closer without hesitation. What did this ritual do for you? Malik noticed that they were being eavesdropped on. He spoke louder. It will fill me with all my power. Have you lost it? Not exactly. It's more like I didn't manage to bring everything with me. Audrey asked the next question herself. Then why don't you kill me? Audrey, even if you change your mind and decide to participate, I won't take you back. I was wrong to choose you for this role, as it turns out. You have a different one. But the ritual isn't complete. It's not. Why? Malik chuckled. Curb your curiosity, after all. Someone's life is on the line. The sooner I finish the ritual, the sooner that life will end. Then Somnus interrupted their conversation. You learned some interesting information. Astrea said you can't be killed. Why? Because I'm not like you. You were born of demon and angel. Malik answered him. He stretched out his words brazenly. Being in such a vulnerable position in front of the Archangel didn't seem to bother him at all. Yeah, just as Shipper foretold. Astrea gave me immortal flesh, but the abyss gave birth to me. I am not your god's creation, and I do not belong to him. He did not create me, and it is not his place to kill me. The Archangel stared into Malik's eyes but saw only death in them. Inside him, the twisted faces of the dead writhed in agony as if in a bottomless pit. Who are you? I am the beginning, and I am the end. Mist spread beneath Malik's feet. Mikhail released his grip on him and stepped back. I am the one whom you will all open your doors, and from whom you will not be able to hide when I cross the threshold. Mist seemed to pour forth from the earth itself, rising from the depths of hell, but none of the demons recognized anything familiar about it. Oh, okay. The mist wrapped around Malik swiftly, tenderly, as if it were his child. He plunged into it within seconds, leaving everyone confused. You will not kill me, because I am death. The mist dissolved and Malik faded away with it. Only his words echoed off the walls of the church. My name is Abaddon. Okay, I like the cinematic. I like the little animation and everything else right there. That was actually pretty good. Alright, so one faith, one skepticism for Rep Diamonds. Alright, so there is episode 8 up next. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts down below. Also, thank you all for tuning in. Very much appreciated. Please do make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Aside from that, I'll leave with this note. So, I'm a person who has studied a lot of religion and things beyond that. I've studied multiple religions and everything else. And there are things that are of note that were created before the heaven, the earth, God created angels, etc. There were other things created before that of note if you look into it. So, I don't know. When you think about it, and again, here's a question to riddle your brains with, right? Is if you do believe in God or not, hypothetical is if God is the creator of all, where did God get created from? Right? Very interesting question. Because maybe something is older than him and is not under his power of control or whatnot, right? It is something that was maybe born before him or whatever. Just a hypothetical, right? That's the whole purpose of always questioning things, right? Always questioning things. So it's interesting. I am enjoying this book. I know, sorry, I haven't been on the ball on all this. A lot's happened. And I'm trying to play catch up in a lot of ways. I'm also dealing with a lot of real life stuff personally myself, so please do understand that. And please bear with me. Sometimes, let me put it this way, for those of you still listening, maybe you can understand this. I've gone through a lot in my life, and even I stumble and fall. I lose my spark, I lose my thunder, I lose what keeps me going. Sometimes we all do. We all stumble and fall. And as of late, I can be humble enough to say that I am trying to push on, trying to keep going, trying to do what needs to be done, right? Whether it be this stuff or just keep waking up every morning and just keep going. Just being honest with each and every one of you right now. Okay? So, just saying. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. I'll catch you all in the next video or stream. Peace out.